Hello and welcome to Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. We had some real action happening on the second day's play at Edgbaston between India and England, and it was a totally an action-packed day. Initially, England were actually dismissed pretty early. I mean, they didn't. The tail did not wag, with Sam Curran's wicket being consumed by Mohammad Shami to bring an end to the England innings, as England were bowled out for 287. But after that, it was India. India started, and India were reduced to 182 for 8 at one stage, with Virat Kohli the sole hope for India. And Virat Kohli definitely turned that hope into a reality, as with and not only that, he first got his first ever test 50 in England. He left behind all those horror stories that he had last season, and he won the battle against James Anderson by today nurturing India to a score of 274. He rallied India from a score of 182 for 8, where probably England would have been eyeing a probably more than 100 runs lead. It was totally shattered, as the Indian hero Virat Kohli and the captain of the Indian team first won the battle against James Anderson. Even though James Anderson definitely won the opening exchanges with Kohli, Kohli got over him. But what was very stunning was how he actually nurtured the number 8, number 9, number 9, number 10, and 11 batsmen, and with 11 the tailenders. He nurtured them and saw to it that he went on to a personal milestone of having the first ever test done in England. And so Kohli has really silenced his critics now as far as scoring in England is concerned. And not only that, he went on to score 149 runs. Yes, definitely it was aided by some poor catching by England. He definitely had a charmed life, no doubt about it, because there were some catches being dropped, and that definitely proved costly. There's no doubt about it. But Virat Kohli, as I said, he was striding. The way he played and the way he was really going along, it was something which was really, according to me, a great innings, because to have only number 9, 10, and 11 with you, and then take the team from 182 for 8 to 274 with 92 runs being scored by Virat Kohli in that particular process. So that was really stupendous stuff, and this is what great players are made of, and that's what Virat Kohli showed. That was all about Virat Kohli and James Anderson. The battle definitely, I wouldn't say that Virat Kohli won it, because he was dropped a couple of times, but it was all about, I would say, the opening exchanges. But Virat Kohli, according to me, has already started the series with 149. That itself says that he has already won half the battle against England here. And this is what Virat Kohli is. So now let's have a look at the card. So England, it did not take time. Mohammad Shami completed the formalities by picking up the wicket, and that was the end. Sam Curran was the last one to go, and did not take much time at all, as Sam Curran was dismissed. And so England were bowled out for 287, and then now came the turn for India to bat, and one was really looking forward to the battle between Virat Kohli and James Anderson. Now the Indian openers, Murli Vijay and Shikhar Dhawan, opened the innings, and they were doing a pretty good job. They were negotiating the bowling of James Anderson, Stuart Broad. James Anderson was definitely bowling superbly at the time, but it was wonderful negotiation by both the batsmen, Murli Vijay and Shikhar Dhawan, to have the first 50 being hit in England. I mean, they have been struggling. The openers have been definitely struggling, and this is coming after quite a long time, where the openers have put a 50 runs partnership, and that was good to see. And while this was going on, India were definitely doing a good job, as the Indian openers Murli Vijay and Dhawan had already taken the score to the 50 mark, which was a psychologically a good thing for India. But after that, Sam Curran, the left arm pace bowler, the swing bowler, who is very short but he generates a lot of swing. And let's see the wickets. So now this was Sam Curran plunging India from 50 for no loss to 59 for 3 in absolute no time. So let's have a look at the wickets. Murli Vijay was the first person to be dismissed, and looking at the dismissal of Murli Vijay, now this was an LBW, so it was a big in-swinger from Sam Curran, and Vijay was halfway into his stride, and the ball actually wrapped him on the pads. Vijay reviewed it, but it went in favor of the England bowler Sam Curran, and Murli Vijay was the first victim. LBW bowled Curran for 20 with 4 boundaries. That was wicket number 1. The next wicket to go was KL Rahul. Now this was very interesting. KL Rahul was coming in at 1 drop, and look at what happened. Now this was not a good shot at all from a person of KL Rahul's caliber, because he got a ball which was probably swinging away, and he dragged that ball into his stumps. Now that was something, as I said, was not a good shot at all. He dragged the ball into his stumps, and he was probably trying to caress the delivery, but he was not to the pitch of the ball, and that was something where a ball which was probably going harmlessly past the off stump was dragged on by KL Rahul into the stumps, and KL Rahul very dejectedly walking back to the pavilion, bowled by Sam Curran for 4 of 2 balls with one boundary. And definitely Sam Curran was on fire. He was definitely on fire when he picked up the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan, now caught by Maiden of the bowling of Curran for 26 with 3 boundaries. Now this was another case of dragging, but definitely it was much better than KL Rahul, one could say, because it was Dhawan actually trying to drive a swinging delivery, and probably he got himself cramped up, and the ball was actually swinging away. But again, this was also a shot which probably one would not really agree. But again, Shikhar Dhawan, as I said, he was cramped up, and he left to the delivery where he actually got a nick onto the ball, and Maiden at the slips, second slip, taking the catch. And as I said, Sam Curran was an absolute fire. He was displaying some tremendous exhibition of swing bowling, and India from 50 for no loss were reduced to 59 for 3. And now the battle that everyone were waiting for, and that was Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, against James Anderson. And Virat Kohli walked into a lot of boos from the English crowd, one could say, and Kohli slowly started, but definitely he had his moments. Anderson definitely won the first battle against Virat Kohli by beating him a couple of times, forcing him to play outside the off stump, which he did. David Malan dropping a catch as well, and Virat Kohli, as I said, the first battle, the first exchange was definitely won by James Anderson. Ajinkya Rahane came in to join Virat Kohli, and Virat Kohli was just settling down. He was making sure that he was staying at the crease, and Ajinkya Rahane was the next one to go, and his wicket was taken by Stokes. Now Stokes was definitely on the money today. He was bowling a very good line, and he was definitely getting the ball to talk, and especially he was getting the ball. He was going wide of the crease, and he was able to slant the ball outside the off stump, and that was really well done. And here, as far as Rahane was concerned, he tried to stab the ball from Stokes, and in the process it was Jennings at third slip taking the catch, and Rahane was gone. Caught Jennings, bowled Stokes for 15 with 1 boundary, and the Indian score was 100 for 4 with Virat Kohli standing strong. And as I said, Ben Stokes was bowling superbly, and then he smashed the stumps. He ripped the middle stump out of the ground of Dinesh Karthik for a knot, and this was some late in swing generated by Ben Stokes, and the Karthik stumps was absolutely splattered. As I said, he ripped the middle stump out of Karthik. And Karthik, that was another big blow for India, and the Indian innings was really looking in tatters at 100 for 5. Hardik Pandya came in, and then Hardik Pandya combined with Virat Kohli to slowly settle down India's innings as they pushed the score from 100 for 5 to 148, with Hardik Pandya's contribution being 22 with 3 boundaries. And Virat Kohli, as I said, was surviving there. He was dropped twice by the England fielders, especially the drop that David Mallon did in slips was, according to me, very costly, because that was, I thought, probably a catch which David Mallon should have taken. But luck, as I said, the luck favors the brave, and that's what happened with Virat Kohli today. But Hardik Pandya, Karan came back for his second spell, and this time it was wonderfully done by Karan. We saw something different from Karan. It was a Yorker, which was a pinpoint Yorker to Hardik Pandya, which was aimed on the base of the leg stump, and it was all over. Before Pandya could actually get the bat onto it, it was all over. The ball was pretty quick, and it had gone on to hit his pad as Pandya was shaping to flick the delivery, and Pandya gone, LBW bowled Karan, and now the Indian score was 148 for 6 as Ravichandran Ashwin walked in. But Ravichandran Ashwin could not really stand it at all, as Ravichandran Ashwin was dismissed by James Anderson, clean bowled. Now this was a ball which was angled on the off stump by James Anderson. There was a real nip of the pitch when the ball pitched, and also it straightened a bit, and before Ashwin could realize, it had taken his off stump. So Ashwin gone, bowled Anderson for 10 with 2 boundaries. Now the score, Indian score at 169 for 7, and then the score at 169 for 7 with Mohammad Shami coming in. But Mohammad Shami was also a victim. He was caught by Mallon of the bowling of Anderson for 2, and the Indians were really, England would have been probably thinking that from 180 with the score on 182 for 8, it was just a matter of England actually taking probably a lead of 100 odd runs. But Virat Kohli was the thorn who was still there in the crease. But one would have never expected that Virat Kohli would nurture the tail to such an extent that he took the Indian score to 274 all out. But Ishan Sharma did his bit in contributing 5 runs before being LBW bowled Rashid. Umesh Yadav was still there. He was doing a good job of blocking the deliveries and seeing to that. And Virat Kohli, when the score was 182 for 8, he was totally a transformed player as runs were just cascading from his blade. And it was also good to see the way he was defending the number 9, 10 and 11 players by farming the strike, which is good to see, as Virat Kohli strode on like a colossus, one could say, and really shattered all the hopes of England as he brought the Indian team as close to the England total as possible, as Virat Kohli's contribution was 149 runs, and in that process, when the runs were added with 9, 10 and 11, 92 runs were coming from Virat Kohli's bat, and I thought this was a super performance from a great player like Virat Kohli, and what a way to do it. I mean, getting his maiden 50 in England, getting his maiden century in England, and going on to make 149, getting India out of a real ditch, I would say, and then pivoting them to 274 and reducing the lead to just 13 runs for England. And Virat Kohli take a bow, and then Rashid was the one who picked up his wicket when he was caught by Broad of the bowling of Rashid. Now this was a short and wide ball to Virat Kohli, but Virat Kohli only managed to actually cut it straight to the fielder. It was Broad who took the catch, and that was the end of Virat Kohli. But what an innings from Virat Kohli, 149, 22 fours and 1 6, and as I said, the first battle itself in England has been won by Virat Kohli, and there can't be a better statement than this that one could probably look at. Yes, Definitely Virat Kohli definitely was a trifle lucky, no doubt about it, as some catches were grasped. But other than that, I would definitely want us to say that the England fielding could have been much better. They really need to perk up, and I think England are the only ones who are responsible for India to get to 274. But Virat Kohli, that was a superb knock. James Anderson, 2 for 41, but Sam Curran stood out with figures of 4 for 74, 17 overs, 1 maiden, 74 runs and 4 wickets, and what he showed that he is a real swing bowler to reckon with for India. Broad 10 overs, none for 40, Adil Rashid 8 overs, 2 for 31, and Ben Stokes, according to me, bowled a superb line, 19 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 73, and especially the way Ben Stokes was using the crease, coming wide of the crease and getting the ball to angle away was simply, I thought it was very superbly done. And now it was the turn of England, and 13 runs on the England openers Alistair Cook and Jennings walked in, and Indian captain Virat Kohli gave the new ball to Ravichandran Ashwin. Ravichandran Ashwin was the one who bowled the first ball, and he started off by really testing Alistair Cook with his variety of deliveries, and at the other end Mohammad Shami. But just before close of play, Cook was they were definitely playing for close of play, there was no doubt about it. But what a delivery, an identical delivery that dismissed Alistair Cook in the first innings, once again was into the picture, and that was done by Ashwin very well. The ball was drifting, there was some drift from the middle to the off stump. Alistair Cook was on his forward prod, and the stumps, it was all over. One could hear the rattle of the timber, and Alistair Cook on the last ball of the day was clean bowled by Ashwin for naught to really leave England in a bad situation at 9 for 1 at close of play. Jennings was not out on 5 with 1 boundary, and with the lead that they had, 13 runs, is a slender lead. It was 22 runs for 1 for England. Shami, 2 overs, both of them were maidens. Ashwin had not completed. As soon as Alistair Cook's wicket was gone, the umpires took off the bails and stumps were drawn for the day. 1 point, and so he'll be bowling the next delivery to the coming batsman, who should be probably Joe Root, according to me. 1.4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 5. So as I said, the day belonged to Virat Kohli. There's no doubt about it. As I said, he has already made a strong statement today by making 149, and there can't be a better way to announce that Virat Kohli is really looking forward to this England tour. Well, dear fans and subscribers, just before I go, let me just very briefly touch on Nepal, who are actually playing their maiden ODIs after the ODI status was awarded. Nepal were playing their first ever ODI against Netherlands, so this was their maiden ODI. One could say all the Nepal players were making their debut, and but Netherlands won the match. Netherlands were the ones who this happened in Amstelveen in Netherlands, and Netherlands were the ones who actually batted first, and they were bowled out for 189. The highest scorer being it was Rippon, who put up in all-round performances. With the bat, he hit 51 of 76, 2 fours in that knock, and 29 by Stephen Myger, who's an aggressive cricketer, as we all know. 29 of 32, 4 fours, 1 6, 20 from Cooper, 30 from D-Lead, 189 all out. As far as the Nepalese bowling was concerned, Sompal Kami had 3 for 34, 8.4 overs, but the best one was the Paras Khadka, the captain. 10 overs, no maiden, 4 for 26, bowled well. Sandeep Lemachai, the leggy, 10 overs, 1 for 42. Basant Regbi, 8 overs, 1 for 28. And Gauchan, who was retired from all cricket for Nepal, 4 overs, none for 15, the left-arm spinner. Now, it was a sort of a send-off for Shakti Gauchan, the left-arm spinner, who has really done a great service to Nepalese cricket. Nepal were chasing 190 to win from 50 overs, and they succumbed to 130 for all out. So Netherlands definitely defending a modest total very well by bowling out the Nepal for 134. Mala was the highest scorer with 50, 1 of 61, 8 fours. The problem for Nepal was that the top 4 In fact, only Mala made 51, Shah made 21, Airy made 33. But other than that, there was nobody who could get into double figures other than Paras Katka, who made 12. But it was Ripan who was ripping open the Nepal batting order in a big way, as they picked up 10 overs, 3 minutes, 23 runs and 3 wickets. Ripan, the spinner, and Seelar joined him in taking 3 wickets for 20. 3 wickets to Klaassen, the pace bowler, and 1 for 3 to D-Lead. So Netherlands winning the match. So Nepal definitely not starting their maiden ODI in history in any good fashion. But nevertheless, they did not be disheartened. I thought this is just the beginning for Nepal. Well, dear fans and subscribers, there's not much to really talk about. Tomorrow's third day's play should be a very, very interesting one. Probably it will also decide as to how this test match is going to go, and one definitely knows that this is going to be a result-oriented test match for sure. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it's about time for me to pull the curtain down on this daily cricket show of mine today by bidding you all a very good night.